Do you know what West has done in Afghanistan in the course of 20 years for generation change and for the implementation of liberalistic values in Afghanistan? Because of poor leadership in Afghanistan's previous government and due to the intense external pressure, liberal culture was imposed on Afghans. Under a very grim league, those figures that had spiritual, jihadist and ethnic influence on Afghan people were removed from key positions and were replaced by young people who had lived, learned abroad and were unfamiliar with the religious and cultural core values of Afghans. Fortunately, no longer after the vast majority of conscious and devoted Afghans realized that the corrupt and tried system of the government had started a fast-paced work supported by foreign projects to change the values and the standards of Afghani culture. This is how the term Mujahid, an Islamic scholar, was discredited. Openly modeling programs funded by so-called National Directorate of Security were arranged. A number of media outlets and charitable foundations and academic centers worked head and shoulder for women's empowerment. The prime purpose of all these things was to take those decent and modest daughters of Afghanistan out of the four shells of their home and use them as a tool for the generation change. This is how, under the pretext of gender equality, the inclusion of women on the board of each and every government institution was coerced. Sadly, so many times a resolution was filed to the legislative authority for the withdrawal of Islamic culture from school and universities. It is worth mentioning to say that a call was voiced which said that in our curriculum, the phrase Allah is one is an extremist phrase which is supposed to be changed because it hurts the sentiments of non-Muslim minority in the country. The lives of many Islamic scholars became bitter in this country, and even at some instances, it cost many treasured lives. On social media, censorship was applied on all those contents which were deemed to be religious. For the first time in the history, it has been reported that the government officials, they have got illicit relation with their female colleagues, and their illicit affairs that they had with the government officials, it has become the talk of the town in the entire country. In various parts of the country, innocent students and scholars were killed so that it caused hatred and grudges in the heart of people against the true warriors and defenders of Afghanistan. And later on, a humorous and a deceptive drama of apprehending all those perpetrators were held. That was only to gain public support and political space. This is how a less than 0.5% of people imbibed this change, and later on they were raised from the margin of the society and they were appointed to rule the people of Afghanistan. Eventually, these all served as catalyst which resulted the fall of the government, and its funeral was carried on the shoulder of these corrupt elements in the presence of Afghan people.